When a watch manufacturer manages to produce an excellent example of one of their own heritage pieces, it gets my attention. By utilising modern day materials and technological advancements, Oris has managed to create such a watch that's so close to the original and so true to form that something very special begins to happen. This new creation begins to portray that nostalgic vintage feeling that so many of us look for in watches of yesteryear. I just purchased this Oris Diver 65 to see why so many people made so much noise at its release at Bezel World in 2015. I wanted to find out for myself if it lives up to the hype. Stick around as I share my thoughts on this vintage recreation from Oris. If you like my content and you want to see more, please help the channel by subscribing and don't forget to hit the notification bell. So welcome back guys. Firstly, let me start by saying that this is a pre-owned watch. I just purchased it this week, and look, I've been looking at this since it's released in 2015 at Bezel World, its announcement, and I've always wanted to get one. I thought, you know what, I've never actually pulled the trigger, and I've gotten other watches in between, and this just came up on the secondary market on Friday last week, and as soon as I saw it, I snapped it up straight away. It's actually from eBay, from a local guy here in New South Wales in Sydney. And look, first impressions, I absolutely love it. I absolutely love the watch, the way it sits, the way it looks, its vintage appeal. Let's get the nitty-gritty out the way. Firstly, the case shape and size and so forth. The case diameter is a 40mm case diameter with a 9.5. I measure it about 9.5 or 10 mil in height. That's excluding the sapphire crystal. With the box dome sapphire crystal, comes out to about 12.5 mil. Now the lug to lug distance is 47.5 and the lug width is 20. So with those dimensions, this watch wears beautifully. This watch wears absolutely superb, really impressive. Now the strap, as you can see on this, is a rubber strap. It's not the original. I think these come out with a Tropic rubber strap. The gentleman I purchased it from, he actually had a leather strap on it. It's got the signed Oris buckle and so forth. But look, it's been worn. It's nice. It's thick. But I've already ordered a few extra straps for this that I'm going to experiment with. I think it's a beautiful watch to be a strap monster. But look, the watch itself is superb. It comes in at about 79 grams. It's really light. I'll put it on the wrist just to show you guys just quickly. There you go. That's what it sits like on my 7-inch wrist. It's a really flat profile. It actually wears like a vintage watch. Like I said, the dimensions, you know, that cater for this watch, but the height, the lightness of it, the small, you know, the footprint, it's just gorgeous, absolutely superb. So I'm really impressed at what Oris have managed to do with this. They've made a modern, you know, copy of an original, but I think they've made it more beautiful. It's absolutely stunning. It's absolutely superb. So it features a boxed sapphire crystal, as you can see. It's absolutely stunning. It's got I think 2 anti-reflective coatings on the inside, and what it does with the dial is just gorgeous. It's got a distortion on the ends, but you can see the high gloss in the black. It's such a gorgeous, unique look. Really nice, and I think they've really nailed it. You know, the way that the bezel sits, the case shape, they've really nailed the vintage aesthetic. So if you look at the original, you know, Oris 65 as compared to this one, let's just put them up for a second. If you look at the original basically the layout of the dial and the as compared to this one, they're pretty much the same. The main differences I can see is that the date has been moved. The original had it at 3 o'clock. This new one has moved it down to the 6 o'clock mark, and I'm actually glad they've done that, because it's more, it's not in your face. It's actually made the dial cleaner, so it's a more modern interpretation of the original. The logo seemed to be in the right area. You got Oris waterproof on the original, you got Oris automatic on this one, and anti-shock 17 joules as compared to water resistant 10 bar 100 meters. So you know, it's a really nice layout. It's a classic. Like I said, it's a classic watch, and they've done a great job on it. It does feature a signed screw down crown, as you can see here, and with that it's got a 100-meter water resistance. Look, I've got dive watches. I didn't buy this for diving, I bought it for its nostalgic look and feel, so I'm not concerned about whether it's got 100 or 150 or 200. I bought it because I actually love the look of this watch. I love what this watch has to offer, its shape, its size, its wearability. It is unique. It's a really great job they've done. So the crown itself, I'm actually impressed with its size. It's it's easy to handle. It's easy to screw and unscrew. It's got a beautiful feel about it. As you can see, it's hackable. We can stop the movement. Hand windable. Oops, sorry, we've done the wrong thing. Hand windable. Yeah, and the screw down crown itself, just gentle application, gentle pressure, locks in beautifully. So the movement itself, it's a Oris caliber 733 movement, so it's basically a modified Sellita SW200. It's based on the ETA 2824-2. So it beats at about 28,800 beats per hour, 38-hour power reserve, hacking hand winding, as I just showed. It's hidden under a solid case back and so forth. But again, it's reliable, it's robust. It's not a magnificent movement, but it is a reliable movement. It is a really top-notch reliable movement. And I've had this on the time grapher today, and it seems to be losing about 3 seconds dial up. Crown up, crown down, at different angles. It seems to be roughly 3 to 4 seconds. So it's pretty well regulated for a entry-level movement. So that's pretty impressive. Now the dial itself, if you have a look at it, I think they've nailed it. Like I said, at 12, 3, 6, and 9, they've got square boxes, with light, old-school radium super luminova. It's just really nice. It's funky, it's quirky. But it's that 1960s feel. I'm a 1960s child. I was born in 67 myself, so having a 65 diver in my hand, I can relate with this. Many people, this is not to their liking, and I get it. I understand that. For me, this is it just speaks volumes. It just speaks volumes of what this the feeling I get from a watch like this. Now the legibility is excellent. The contrast of the markers against the black high gloss dial is superb. The hands themselves, as you can see, they're just simple sword hands with generous amounts of lume in them, as well as the pip on the seconds hand and the pip on the actual bezel. The bezel itself is a unidirectional 120 click bezel, and probably one of the best action bezels that I've heard for a while. Let me just let you guys hear this. That is stunning. It's got a beautiful positive click to it. The slightest of back play, not too much, but it's got a fantastic feel and sound to it, so positive that I'm impressed. It's a thin aluminium bezel, really thin profile. I think the actual coin engine in itself has got a like a PVD coating of some sort of a black coating. But look, it's robust. Like I said, this is a pre-owned watch, so it's holding up pretty well. It's about a nearly 3-year-old watch now, and it's holding up pretty well. It might have a few marks on it, but I will probably get it clean and polished in the near future. Now the thing that I have to say about this piece is the look that it portrays, the way that this thing sits. It's not going to be to everyone's appeal. Like I said, it's something that I like. I always like this sort of vintage case shape and look. I know a lot of other brand manufacturers do a similar shape. In fact, Seiko have got the 62 MAS, which is very similar in its shape and case style, bezel and crystal and so forth, the original, and they're doing their reproductions. And Oris had their own version of that diver, and look, these are great. These are just great. So I'm glad that I purchased this. I'm glad that I that manufacturers are starting to listen. They're doing watches that the public wants. Now the dial on this is absolutely superb. What Oris has done with this is beautiful. It's a high gloss black. It's got a curve to it, and you'll probably pick it up a little bit as I move the watch around, but you can see it in the hand in real life. This is It really does a great job on just the emotive feeling of the 60s and you know, a groovy sort of a feel. It's great. It's stunning. You know, all the watches seem to look very similar these days, and I'm just, you know, I like to find something a little bit different. And with manufacturers bringing back some of this old stuff, it's, for me, it ticks the boxes, you know, the right boxes. So look, it's look at the taper and the shape of the lugs, the way they taper down. You know, classic 60s K-shape with a beautiful presence. I can't speak highly enough of a watch like this. It is a really nice unit. It's a really superb unit. You know, the way that the crystal treats the dial, it tries to mimic the original, which was a acrylic crystal. This is obviously a sapphire, but they've done a great job. They've done a great job with the sapphire. I think, you know, modern day materials, vintage look, really good, really good. So look, I'll put some photos up for you guys to enjoy. I hope you enjoy this. It was like a first impressions of the watch. I'm excited. I understand what people were excited from at Basel World in 2015. I can see it now in my own hands. I've never had the experience of actually grabbing one. So now that I have it, very pleased. Something that's going to stay in the collection, and it's somewhat of a strap monster. I'm going to be experimenting with different types of straps, from leather, NATO, silicone, rubber and so forth. Just a keeper. So enjoy these photos, guys, and look, and if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. You know, and click the notification bell. We'd love to see you in the next video, and thanks for watching. We'll talk to you all then.